Hi YouTube. This drawing was submitted by a subscriber for me to take a look at, and I thought I'd do it here on this video for everyone's benefit, hopefully. It's a drawing of Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones, and it's a really nice drawing. I like the fact that the artist here appears to have a pretty good eye for detail. If you'll notice, and I'm trying to zoom in a little bit here, what I really like, I'll point out the things that I like here, is where you can see the shading to show that his cheeks are sunken in because he's making that funny mouth thing of his. That this was depicted right here on the drawing itself. I hope it's translating on the camera. But this here is a printout of the drawing. I of course don't have his drawing. I have to print them out, and that means I don't really have control over erasing things and stuff like that. Which who knows, maybe the original artist would not want me to do anyway. But just want to bring out here that though it's a printout, you can still see a lot of the shading here. You can see a lot of detail. I like the detail on the neck. He did a really good job with the wrinkles of the neck, where he shaded the shadows underneath the folds, which is really good. So it didn't come across as just a bunch of lines, which can be a problem for some. But it actually shows that these were folds in the neck. I like that. It's really good. And the mouth is really good. I like that. He's got all the detail there. That's good. The nose looks pretty good. Well, that's basically the parts that jump at me. I do like this collar area here of the shirt or jacket or whatever this outfit is here. Now, as far as parts that could use a little bit more attention, for example, is while you have good detail here for this part of the shirt, kind of deviated off here on the rest of the jacket where it was made up of, ended up being a lot of lines. If you look really close here, it moves away from the attempt of a realistic face, or realistic drawing I should say, to something a little less realistic, because you have these hard lines, lots of hard lines. I know it's maybe not fun to draw clothing, but if you move away from doing everything realistically from the reference photo, if any part of the reference photo you choose not to bring in full realism, that actually can take away from the whole drawing itself. Whereas here, it was really working good towards getting it close to here, which I could see that it's not that far from here. It's one step away, which is nice. But unfortunately, when you look at the clothing here on the shoulder, it's a big jump here because it gets more animated with these hard lines. There are no hard lines in this reference photo. Okay, here all you have is shadow separation. Okay, when you have one set of fold over another set of folds in the clothing, and you might want to check out my drawing folds video that shows the shadow, the shading that gives it the impression of curvature. Well, when you have something up here up front and you have something here in the back, you don't have a line that separates the two. What you have is a transition from light into dark. So you want to kind of downshade the back part here, and then you want to kind of do a gradient from the light into the dark, and then that would give you the impression of folds. Here it's just it's flat. There's no separation between this area and here on the drawing itself. It all looks the same, which means it's as flat as this table, rather than you can see that this fabric is closer to us, this part is farther from us, and you want to convey that. Another thing too that is important if you want to have realism is you've got to draw what you see. Now here we have all these black lines in the fabric here, these black lines, and it's just this. Okay, when you do photorealism, you're not going to be doing this. You're going to be doing this. And it's long and tedious work, but you're going to be moving very slow, and you're going to be mimicking what you see, the correct shades. Oh look, little details, you want that in there, you're going to put that in. Okay, oh there's a couple of dark marks there, you want that in, and you're going to want to spot those details, and you want to translate it over there. Now with that said, I think the more important thing for this video is to focus on the hair. And that's what I'm going to do for the rest of this video. I'm not going to talk about any more of the shading and everything, but I'm going to talk about the hair. Because the hair is a subject that's difficult for a lot of folks. I still at times find myself having to start from step one again, because hair can sometimes get away from you if you think too hard about it. That's the worst part, and I have a tendency of doing that sometimes. Take a look at the hair, and this is what really makes a difference between the two, that would really bring this out even further, is getting the hair right. Now if you'll look at his hair here in the reference photo, what do you see? Just think about what do you see a lot of dark hairlines, or do you see a dark area with a lot of the dark taken out and left with just lit areas, these highlights? What makes it look like hair? See, it's not dark lines making hair. That's not what we're seeing here. We're seeing a dark area with parts of that dark area removed to expose this lighted area here, and that makes it look like hair. Now if you look at the difference here, here we have where you're making a lot of dark lines. You want to try to avoid that, especially when you're doing, in this reference photo, his hair is dark. So, and it's dark because of the lighting, not necessarily because he has dark hair. I don't know what color his hair is in real life. I know he's not blonde. So in this case here, we have this one shade all the way, well here it's a little darker, but it's one shade all the way here. Okay, it's one shade, but here that's not what we see. Whoops. And we have to go by what we see if we're going to do realistic or photorealistic drawing. You have to do what you see. It's very important. Whether it's still life or real life, you need to draw what you see if you're going for realism. Okay, so for example, and I'm just going to kind of point at it. I'm not going to make any changes on this drawing here, or at least not too much, because I can't take the highlights out of here. You can see that we have highlights. I have no way of getting it off of here. But if you look here, notice this is all dark area here. This is all dark area. And if I was to get my, I'm going to use this charcoal pencil here. This is a Primo Elite Grande, really good charcoal pencil. Now I won't be able to mimic this because the shape of the hair itself is not the same. There's a lot of differences here between this and here. So I'm just going to do this as an example, like in this area here, this is all dark area in here, okay? So I'm just going to mark it. I'm not going to really draw it. I'm going to mark it. Okay, so you can see what I'm talking about. This whole area here is dark. That's all supposed to be dark. Okay. Well, I'm having troubles keeping that up. Let me just tape that puppy down there. Here we go. Okay. And so it's all dark down here. So you want to make sure that if it's dark on the reference, it's going to be dark here. You see it's dark underneath this loop of hair. So we should have seen it dark over here. This is all dark on the end of this curve. This, what do you call those, hair locks? So you want that down here. Notice it's dark here underneath this hair lock. You definitely want to make sure that that's in there. Behind his ear, behind his head, this whole area needs to be dark. And if you look at the reference photo, you don't see individual strands of hair, but yet I see lots of individual lines like this. You don't want that. You don't need to draw actual little hair. What you want to do is imply that there's hair there. That's all you want to do, is imply that there's hair. So that area there is going to be dark. Over here, this area here is dark. So you certainly want to make sure it's dark in your drawing. Okay. It's dark over here. This whole area here is dark underneath the hair. Make sure it's dark here. Okay. This whole area underneath this lock of hair, this area right here, that's all dark. And see, it's not that hard to do. It's just be mindful that you want to mimic real life, and you want to change the transition from light to dark. Now this is all kind of dark going here, so I'm just going to go and I'll just show where this all is. It's not solid dark, so I'm not going to do solid dark, but I just want you to get an idea of what I'm talking about. Just get that all in there. Now this area right here is all dark. There's no light in here at all. So don't put what you think it should be, even though it's your drawing. Granted, you can do whatever you want, but since I'm all about the photorealism here, you know, as far as my lessons, that I'm going to assume that's what you want to know about. Notice there's dark in between here and here and here. So you know, when you get in here and you put your base down, then you're going to take your eraser and you're going to get those highlights. Then you can go in with your dark pencil and just get inside there and make those little dark shadows underneath these loops of hair, and it gives you that impression of hair. See, this area here is dark, okay? So you're going to just imply that you have separate locks of hair here and here. Okay, so anyway, I've marked this up pretty well here, and that's plenty. But that's the whole idea, is you want to make sure that if it's dark here, you want it dark on here. All right, now with that said, I can't do anything with this drawing, so what I've done here is I've sketched out Mr. Jagger's head. Okay, so I did one of my own here, because I can mark it up. Now here's what you can do, okay, and this is a simple way of drawing a dark hair, or what looks like dark hair in your photograph. The first thing you can do is you can start going in with your dark pencil and you start getting all those dark areas. You can see that we have dark all through here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just put that in behind the ear. Doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure that where it's dark, you're going to have it dark. sure I don't draw into his ear. He wouldn't appreciate that. I'm not going all the way to the edge where the highlight is here, but I will blend out there, and then I'll take it up with my eraser. I'm focusing all on the dark areas here. That's what I want to focus on. I'm going to have to balance time because I'm not really taking my sweet time. There's only so much I can do on video here before I have to recharge the batteries, and then I'm going to end up having to time lapse it because it's too long. So I'm just want to try to convey as much as I can, but at the same time I would like you to have something you can look at. So alright, okay, so we got that. Now I've got this dark area here, and I see I marked where my loop is. Didn't get the other one here, so let me see. I don't want to use this pencil, this is too dark. Use a 2H here, but I have this area here where it goes from here to here. So yeah, so it's kind of like right there. I want to avoid getting that too dark because I'm going to see the light areas here. I want to make sure that I don't get too heavy with my dark stuff, because I want to take out the highlights. So draw the shape. See the shape here, like this, okay, of this highlight area? Well, I got that right here, and then I got this part right here. Just put it in lightly so that you know, hey, don't drown it out with too much dark there, so that you can come back later. And I got my flip here. Let's see. So this area here is going to be dark, so I'll mark that right there. Mark that. All this will be covered up, so you can just mark it to your heart's content. You can see I marked the dark area here and here, for this area here and here. Okay, now I got this zone here, and go like this and go like this. That's my dark area, and it's going to come down to about right there. Okay, so this is all going to get dark right here. I got this light area here, but there's a dark zone right here. So I'm going to go in here and show this is a lock of hair like this. And then I'm going to come in here, and this one goes up out to here. So this area here is all going to be dark. I'll just scribble that in like that because that's all going to get hidden. And then all this underneath here is going to get dark. Okay, this is dark, 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 dark. This is kind of a hodgepodge, so I'll go light here. But down here, I'm going to want to go dark. To see the shape of that dark area there? So I'm just kind of shaping it right here so I know where to go. Real simple. You just make sure that you see what it is you're going to be drawing here. Get that loop in there. Okay. This part here, make sure I don't have it marked to be dark because it's not going to be dark there. Okay. Good deal. Alright, so whoops. I want to get this block of black here. So that's going to come from here. It's going to go across all the way to here. It's going to go up to here. Okay, it's going to go all the way to here. This is kind of jagged, like a Mick Jagged. Alright, there we go. So, I give myself little notes. Make it real easy. Okay, so now continuing on here. So this area here is going to be dark. So I'm going to get that in there. Looks like that's dark there. Okay, that's all going to be dark there. And then that's going to be dark there. I'm looking at shapes. This kind of a long triangle shape here. So I'm putting my long triangle shape here. I got this flat part here, which is dark. Boom, boom, boom. So I'll go with that. I still got some. Okay, I got some dark going here. I got some dark here, here, here. Boom, boom, boom. Easy peasy parcheesi. Okay, and then we got some mild. It's not real super dark here, so I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to just put a little bit there I can blend. Then I'm going to take out some highlights, and then I'll go in with a dark pencil and just kind of draw within the hairs there. But I can see the line here, well, that's here, so that's good. So I want that because it gets pitch black right there. So I'm going to get that really nice and dark. Kind of comes to a point here. So I'll get that. Try to draw in the direction that the hair will go, even though you don't see direction. It's kind of weird to explain, but it's always good to go in direction because, you know, it can be said that the mind can pick up on subtleties, you know, and so just in case that's a fact, and I think it is, as the person drawing, it does help me get a sense of that I'm drawing the guy's hair rather than just going all kinds of different directions. Okay, we got this area here. I'm looking at negative space, which is the dark areas, or whatever I choose to be negative space, you might say, which is not my focal point. And let's see, it looks like this comes up like so. This comes up like so. Let's get that in there dark. And then this comes right up under that lock of hair there. And then it comes to a narrow zone right there. And then joins up with that other. And then that solid black. So I better get that solid black. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, this here, but then that's highlighted in here, so I'm not going to mess with that. And then we have here this end of this hair, and then it just kind of stops here. Okay, that's it for that side. Okay, I'm probably just going to do one side here. No need to do the whole thing for a demonstration. Now that you have these dark areas in, just take like a cotton bud here, one of these ear thingies, and you blend that so you get the solid black, but at the same time, and keep looking at your reference photos so that you don't kind of like change things around. But if you'll notice, I'm going to bleed into the highlight area and give it some tone. See? In the direction that the hair should be going. So it goes right into here. Okay. Lovely. And then I'm going to blend that black and then out to those edges here where we're going to have highlights. And look at where the hair is flicking and everything, and kind of go in those directions there. Don't add anything. If you don't see it in the drawing, don't add it. Okay? don't make up your details. And then I'm going to blend into that highlight area right there. I'm going to blend into this highlight area here, go up like so. This is a dark area here, or semi-dark area I should say. And then I got this hair here, so again, using what's on the cotton bud, the ear bud, the Q-tip, okay, that's be the highlight area. So don't get too pushing down too much on there. Okay, just be light with it. We'll work everything out. Here's another area here. You can see, what do you call this? Where the little stray hairs get in the light. So real lightly, as I'm blending the dark areas here, I also want to just bleed some of that charcoal out into the light, and then I'll pluck out the hairs by using the eraser. Okay, so just look at your reference photo constantly. Just don't be in a hurry like I am. I'm kind of going through this quite quickly, but I think it's coming out well, so I'll be able to show you what to do here. Okay, and then really lightly into that light. Okay, don't make up anything if you don't have to, and you don't. Alright, there you go. Now you can see that it's already starting to form. I'm already starting to get that hair here. Notice what I did. I started with the dark, the charcoal, and then I used blending to get into the highlighted areas. Now that we're in the highlighted areas here, I'm going to take, for example, my little eraser pen here. This is a Tombow Mono Zero, and I try to have a chisel point on here, and you can come in here, okay, and you can just start taking out some of that charcoal in the direction of the hair. This is your highlights. And be careful to make sure that you see the direction that the hair is moving in, because you're going to want to come in with your dark pencil here in a moment, and you're going to go in there and put the shadowing in between everything. Okay, so we're not drawing hair. We're drawing in highlights. Okay, we're implying hair. Be careful you don't make your eraser lines, your highlight lines too thick. You know, this is a good time to show you guys something else here. You ever seen my little tricky thing that I like to do? Toothpick? You can do that too. Okay, come in here and you can really get some fine lines going on here. Okay, look at that. It's awesome. Okay, so you can do stuff like that. All that helps. Okay, the lines are not that, the highlights are not that fine right here, so be careful not to make them too fine here. Look at that. That's so cool. All right. Looks like I'm going to use this whole thing up here. Okay, we got this area here. All right. We're implying that there's hair there. We're not drawing hair. Remember that. We're not drawing hair. Okay. You go here. And another thing, we have a dark background here. We have a light background here. So you're going to actually have to do some of the flyaways with your light pencil, like a 2H. You can do it later. You don't have to do it like right away. All right. Looking at the brightest area of this here, making sure that I really focus a lot on that. I want to really pick out that highlight zone. Okay. There's a few hairs that are showing up in the dark area there, really caught the light, so see if you can get a couple of those to show up, because boy, does that just really give it that realistic look. Okay, you know, you just don't have this dark zone and nothing going on in there. Sometimes you have a stray lighted hair going in there, like that one. Okay, and that kind of zips out that way. There's a few little stragglers here. Let me get those in there. Why not? I don't think I blended that. Doesn't act like it's blended. Blending's really important. It helps you to take out some of the... There we go. Nice. And let me just highlight the tip of it right there a little bit because it caught more light. Awesome. All right. Let's see. I got enough of that going on here. Don't want to get carried away. Oh, there's more here. There we go. Okay. Now that I got these highlights in here, go take like a 2B pencil, something like that. And what you want to do is you want to kind of go in here, look at this area like right here. This is really highlighted area. Okay, this area here actually should be like, I'm going to take this eraser here. I'm going to make it much more noticeable that it's bright. Okay. Where's my brush? There we go. I got stubborn powder there. Then I'm going to just take my 2B pencil here. Actually, that one's going to be probably too much. I'm going to go with a 2H on that highlight. Just want to get a few. There we go. Wow. There's a part in there I can't seem to get out. All right. Then you come in here, and this darker little mid-tone. This is mid-tone. So I come in here with the mid-tone, and I want to come in there and underneath some of those, what do you call it, the eraser lines. I'm going to get in between there and kind of accentuate it, bring it out a little bit more. And again, I would like to spend more time on something like this, and I will for my own drawing. But this one here is just an example one, and I could spend so many hours on this. I don't want to do that. because it won't be necessary to get across how to do this. Okay, here again, just some of these areas here. You want to imply hair, get underneath some of those shaded areas. Some loose hairs coming out into the background there. Okay, here we got dark in between, so I'm going to go in with a darker pencil. Let me see, here's my really dark 7B here with, it has charcoal in it or carbon, and I can see I need to go in here. So you know what, 9XXB, let's just use that. It's the same kind of pencil, and I'm just going to get in here. Okay, so in between some of those so-called light lit hairs, because it is much darker in the reference, so I definitely want to tone some of those down. I got a thick white area there, I don't want that. So okay, that looks good. Dark zone here. I need a point. Right here. Notice I'm trying to mimic what I see there. Okay, there's just that light strand, one light strand. Make sure that's there. I'll blend this out into the dark here. This goes down in here. And in here. Okay, where's my charcoal pencil? I need charcoal there. And this part here goes down like so. Alright, and we're going to blend. We're going to blend it and tone it down because it's toned down here. Okay. Okay. So that's my point on here. And then just, I'm going to pull out, I'm just going to pull out some of these here. See, there's that one right there. Okay. Okay, this one goes all the way across. These kind of dead end to it. So there's a light one there. There's a light one there. Ah, okay, see. Alright, so there you go. That's called detail. You gotta get the detail in there. Okay. I'm going to take my dark pencil here. Looks like I need a point on it again. This is my charcoal pencil. A medium or a hard charcoal too, just as well to get detail. Now here I see I got some white hairs going through this dark area here that I definitely need to account for. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of charcoal here to bleed out here a little bit. I'm going to take this and kind of stroke it out, especially in this area here because it's darker. Okay, it looks like here I need to get a little bit of that going here, and then it fades down into here. Okay. Remember, you may look like you're messing things up, but it's giving you a base to where you can pull out your highlights. I can come in here and I can put this base in here, and then again I can come in here with this and find where the highlights are. And these eraser lines, by the way, they act as guidelines as well, because it shows you where you're going to want to put your dark shadow areas. Now here I got to go inside here and start getting some of those lines done. And then, let's say, for example, I'm going to take this. Now, let's see, where's that medium? That's a hard. I'll use a hard. You see, in between these highlights, you have these dark shadows. Find a couple of those. So here's one here, and put that in. Okay, here's another one right here. So I'm going to put it right underneath that highlight line that I have in there. So it acts as like a shadow. And it gives the hair volume, gives it depth. Okay. If it's light here, make it light here. Don't get heavy-handed. Don't decide that you know best. Go with what you see. Okay, underneath there, several of these. Okay. No time are we drawing hair. I am not going to draw any hairs. I am drawing shadows, highlights. And the funny thing is when you do that, magically hair appears to the human eye. Where did that hair come from? Well, it was there all the time. Okay. Let me get a few of these in here. I don't know if I mentioned I'm using a hard charcoal. It's giving me a little more detail here. Okay. And you can see where the highlights are, and you don't want to go over them. You're going to go between them, and it's going to give it that shadow look to it. Okay. I'm going to clean up. Got to do a little cleanup. There we go. That's it. Here we can see all these white lines I got right here. Well, I come in here underneath them, in between them. Okay. That looks like I'm going to blend that. So it's not this jagged edge here. It looks like I didn't blend that really well, but I'll take that out like so. Let's see, how am I doing here? Okay. Now you notice I start fading into my own little world here. Okay, so I apologize if I don't keep talking, but sometimes I have to just kind of la-di-da-di-da, you know. See, we got a few down here. All right. Oh, forgot a couple. We want to get some highlights going here. There we go. The charcoal can eat up this tape pretty quick, I'll tell you that. Just want to get some highlights in that area right there. It implies that there's some hair there, even though you don't see it distinctly. I need a point. Don't do this on your drawing. It's just I'm doing this in front of the camera here. I usually would do it off to the side so that you can see that what I'm doing. Don't do that, you know, so you don't mess up your drawing. I need a sharper point on here. Okay, so I got to get those little tiny highlights implied, just imply. That's all you want to do. And sometimes you can't really get a thin line with your stick here. But the trick is once you get it, let's say your white line is too thick, come in with your dark pencil and thin it out. Just thin it out. It's simple as that, by going right next to it with your dark. And you now have thin highlights. Voila. Okay, look at that. All right, so anyway, getting back on this part here. Okay, I can see this is bright here, and then this gets a little bit darker there, so I could just lightly shade that dark and come in here and shade it dark, and I can pull some highlights out of it if I want. Don't want to get too dark like I'm doing right now, so I'm going to have to pull out some more. But I wanted to highlight that area right there, which I did, which is good. But the background I went a little too dark, so I'm just going to line it up a little bit with its own highlights, just a little. But I'm going to keep that separation there. I like that separation right there. So I don't want to lose that. It gives me a good, I use a clean cotton swab here, pick some of that. Okay. Let me get my highlights back. Looking at that reference, I want to match it as close as I can, and it shifts over to here. Okay, and then this is kind of just a few lines like this. Okay, this area here goes highlight all the way to here, which differentiates this lock from the lock in the back. I want to get that in there without making it look too deliberate that I'm doing that. All right. There we go. Oh, beautiful. Love it. Love it. Love it. Get that bright area back in there again. This is all open area here. Let's get that all opened. All right. That's about all I'm going to do on this. I don't want to spend too much time on it. I think I got enough here to give you an idea, but there is more to do here by far, but that will make for another very long video. And I think I have conveyed the message here. So you know what the steps are, okay? See, I can get carried away. I could just keep on going and going and going, then I'm going to end up throwing this thing away. It's the only reason why I don't want to spend so much time on it, because I don't want to keep it. Okay, I'm going to shade out into the light. I want to make it subtle coming out into the light from the dark here. And then when I come out into the light from the dark here, and then the middle of it is the highlight. Get that in there. Okay, and you can always use like a 2H or something if you want to just kind of throw a few strands in there. All right. Okay, anyway guys, I'm going to stop right there. Okay, did half his head for you. There you go. See? And where's that other one? Okay, and then you want to, what do I do with this drawing? Oh, there it is. Okay, so you can see the difference there. Okay. All right, guys, that's going to do it. I hope you learned something from this. So drawing hair really isn't that complicated as long as you kind of look at it from the standpoint of bringing out the darks first, give it some base tone, bring out some highlights, then going in with the darks in the shadow areas, bring out the details that way, and then you end up with something that looks like realistic hair, photorealistic hair. Well, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Hey, and tomorrow, of course, I have that live stream at 10:30 a.m. Central Time, where I will continue on my drawing of Robert Downey Jr. He needs a lot of work, so you can join me as I continue to work on him. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.